Okay, I think I will make a start. Welcome to our first Zoom session. Unfortunately, we couldn't have a Zoom last week, but we managed to secure a Zoom session for this afternoon. There are a few things I want to run through with you. I will not go through any lecture material in this session because I only have I think 40 minutes session that is allocated for me this afternoon, so I won't have enough time to run through everything. But I just want to check and make sure that everyone following closely with what I have uploaded on Moodle since last week. Basically, week 5 and week 6, the materials that I am covering with you is just Excel, Microsoft Excel. That's what you will notice from my lecture notes that I've posted on Moodle last week, week 5. This is how we organize. There are 3 sessions altogether in 1 week. Session 1 is supposed to have a lecture material that is uploaded there. And then session number 2 is another lecture material, and then session 3 is basically a lab activity where you will have an opportunity to interact with Microsoft Excel. Now, what you will realize from your notes when you read the notes that I've uploaded since last week is that I didn't prepare the notes separately with the activity. What I did is I integrated the activities inside your lecture note, which means that when you read the notes, you realize that there are certain activities that you need to go through, because that is the only where you can learn Excel. You have to practice. So what I am expecting from you, yesterday I managed to meet a particular student and then I talked to her. It's quite challenging when you don't have laptops with you. If you are reading the notes with your mobile phone, then it will become very challenging for you, because you won't be able to do the real hands-on activity with the Excel. So what I am suggesting is this: when you want to go through the lecture note, please make effort to sit with a laptop, find a laptop, because when you read the note and then at the same time you open an Excel spreadsheet and then you practice as you go through the note. Otherwise, if you read the notes in isolation of Excel, by the time you finish the notes, you won't even understand anything there. So what I'd recommend is make sure you read the note in parallel with an Excel spreadsheet there. Okay, so when you go through the note, if you are asked to perform certain step, go straight to the Excel and then do what the note tells you to do. Now, what you will realize is as of last week, I uploaded the lecture note. I also put the data, sample data, the Excel spreadsheet data that is also uploaded on your Moodle platform. Those data that is uploaded underneath the lecture slides is basically the data that you will be using when you go through the lecture note. For example, let's just share my screen here. If you look, let me see this. I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, so this is our MICT111 Moodle Shell platform. I am now on that page, and week number 6 is supposed to be the activated page on your Moodle Shell for MICT. If I click on week number 5, it's going to take us back to last week's material. So week number 5, the first session, you don't have any Excel spreadsheet that is needed there. There is no data that I am providing for lecture number 1. However, lecture number 2, there are 4 Excel spreadsheets. So what I am expecting from you is this: you download the lecture notes and then you download these 4 Excel sheets also, because somewhere inside your lecture note, you will realize that the instruction will ask you to open these sheets. So please, if you haven't done this, I'd recommend you to go back and read your note and then do this, because that's the only way you can understand. You read and then you don't actually do the real practice with Excel, you won't really get everything that you want to get across. There is also a lab activity, and the Excel spreadsheet that you will be using in your lab activity for last week is given there. Okay, and then after this, then you will have your portfolio assessment task. With that, I want to say thank you to everyone who managed to submit your portfolio assessment right on time before the Dropbox closed. Usually what I did is, according to my announcement last week, the beginning of the week, I did mention to you that the portfolio assessment task will be made available to you Friday morning, and then you will have all day Friday, over the weekend, all day Monday until 11 o'clock Monday night. Okay, 11 p.m. that's when the Dropbox close. So you've got a pretty much a lot of time there, because if you run through the lecture slides, you do the activity that is embedded together inside your lecture note, and then you do the lab activity on Friday, shouldn't find too much difficulty with the portfolio assessment task. It's supposed to be very straightforward. So please make effort and go through the material. Don't just go straight to the portfolio and then you try to answer the portfolio because you will be awarded marks. Don't do that. Okay. What I'd recommend is that make sure you read the note. The portfolio activity assessment task is supposed to be the final thing that you need to look at. Okay. So basically, the layout is pretty much the same for this week, week number 6. Or before I move on to week number 6, something I want to stress here. Please, for those of you who haven't filled up the new learner survey questionnaire form, please make effort and fill up this form. It's very important for the institute. We're going to see how we will use your comments. Basically, we'll use those comments to improve this course later on in the future. Okay, so I'm going to kindly ask you, if you haven't do so, to fill up the form, allocate maybe 5 or 10 minutes of your time just to complete this form. It will be really helpful for the institution, especially the academic office. Okay, so that is on week 5. Now, before I move on to week 6, concerning your portfolio, week 5 portfolio assessment task, a lot of you, I think there are 66 students who managed to submit the portfolio assessment task on time before the Dropbox close, which is good on you. There are some of you who are finding difficulties, especially with the sharing of file. They call me, a lot of you are making calls. What I advise them is don't wait for that. So long as you complete the assessment, submit through the Dropbox, and then you can find your way around how to share the document with me later on. Okay. Now, what you will realize is this: the Dropbox closed on Monday 11 o'clock, and then some of you haven't managed to submit the assessment, and then they were requesting. I've seen a lot of emails were flying into my inbox. Some students are trying to submit assessment via the email. You look at my announcement on Moodle. What I told you is that I will not accept, or I will not mark any assessments that is submitted through my email address. I repeat, I will not mark any assessment that is submitted through email address. All assessments that will be marked are the ones that is submitted on Moodle, which means that you have to submit your assessment on time. Okay. If you couldn't manage to submit on time because of certain circumstances that you come across, please make effort to let me know before the assessment due. You need to inform me before the assessment due. Don't inform me after the assessment due and then try to give me all sorts of reasons. I will not accept that. Okay, so you are university students, you are tertiary students, you have to find time whenever assessment is due, make every effort to submit on time. Okay, some of you couldn't manage to submit before the Dropbox closed. They are requesting after that. So I went through the Moodle for those specific students only. I give you extension until Friday, which is tomorrow, number 6, 5:30 p.m. the Dropbox will be closed. So for those of you who haven't submitted, go to Moodle, and then you will realize that the Dropbox is activated for you again, which means that you can submit. and then by tomorrow 5:30 p.m. that Dropbox will be closed for everyone, which means that after giving you extension, if you haven't submit until tomorrow Friday 5:30 p.m., then that means you will automatically get 0. I will not accept anything after that time because I already give you extension. And those of you who didn't submit on time and then I give you extension, there will be some marks that will be deducted from your overall score for task, week 5 portfolio assessment task. So take note of that. Even though you still can submit, there will be some marks that will be deducted. Okay, few marks, or yeah, maybe certain. I will inform you on this later on how much I will remove from your overall score for that assessment. Take note, portfolio assessment task is worth 8%. 8%. There are 5 portfolio tasks that you will be doing starting from week number 3. You've done some portfolio activity with Mr. Flexon. Week number 4, you've done some portfolio activity there. So 1 week supposed to be 8 marks. The second week another 8 marks there, 8%. And then last week's portfolio assessment task is 8%. This week's one, which will be uploaded tomorrow, is another 8%. And the final one will be week 7, okay, which is next week. And that will be covered with Mr. Ian Kennedy. Okay. On my part, I've got this week is my final week with you for Excel. And then next week, Mr. Ian Kennedy will come in to cover, I think, Microsoft Publisher with you. So that's pretty much on the assessment part. Very important information that you need to note here, especially if you didn't make it a commitment last week. Please try to make this a commitment to complete the task before the due date. Okay. This week's material, you already have the 2 lecture notes is given there. Lecture 1, we are just looking at basically session number 1 for this week. You are just looking at how you manipulate the data with regards to graphs. Okay, so go through this. A lot of things that you will cover in this lecture notes is very handy for you, especially later on in the future. You will find that these skills that you actually go through with me during this 2 weeks holiday will become very handy, because Excel, especially Microsoft Office, that is Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Excel, and then Word document. This is a software that you will be interacting with for the rest of your life. When you go back to schools go back to school for teaching, you will be dealing a lot with this Microsoft Office. So please, it is very important to try and understand these basic skills that you need to acquire for you to be used later in the future, especially in your profession as a teacher. That's lecture number 1 is on data and graph. Number 2 is basically on formulas and functions. Please go through this one. It's very important, especially when you when you deal with numbers, because especially the result for your students and all sorts of things, you will be using formulas in Excel. So I'd recommend you to read this lecture note, please, to read and then go through the notes nicely with this Excel. While saying this, I want to mention something here. There is a particular student who called me and say that she tried to download the document. She tried to download, especially with the Excel file. She tries to download the Excel file, but the internet browser that she is using couldn't allow her to download the file. Now, I just want to make this one to be clear to everyone. If you are using the internet, like what we are doing now, to download the documents, especially with the Excel, depending on the type of browser that you are using, internet browser, okay? If you are using Microsoft Edge, okay, sometimes you won't be allowed to, the browser won't allow you to download automatically. You will click, and then there are some of the things that you need to do in order to make your Excel file visible to you when you download, okay? But okay, I am demonstrating this now. Okay, look at this. If you're looking on my screen with what I did now is I click on this basic formula practice and try to download. The browser that I am using now is Microsoft Edge. That's the browser I am using. So when I click on this Excel file to download, okay, if I click on the download button, look at my screen here on this top right hand corner, it says download. When I click on this, you realize on my screen here, it says I cannot download this. Okay, I can't download this. So what I did is I click on this. Okay, let me just move this a little bit down here. Okay. So what I did is I'm going to click on this one here. Okay. More actions. When I click on this, okay, this time you have delete, keep, report this file as unsafe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on keep. So I click on this and then there is an instruction. Okay. This file can be downloaded securely. Okay. Either cancel or keep anyway. I'll just click on keep anyway. Okay, so when I click on this, see, now the Excel file has been downloaded nicely. You can see here, this is an Excel. Okay, I can click on this folder. Okay, if I click on this, it will take me to the folder that this Excel file has been saved into, which is this. Okay, so now I've got this Excel file nicely downloaded. I can click on this, and then it opens for me. So again, every Excel file that I am uploading on Moodle is working. Okay, there is no issue with those files. It's just the internet browser that you are using. Okay, sometimes some of the internet browser it won't allow you to download nicely. So when you open this, just enable editing, and then you have your Excel file there. Okay, that's where you can proceed and then you work. The other thing is, if you are having issue and then you don't want to go through all the process that I am just going through now with you, what you can do is you can just change the internet browser that you are using. Okay, you can always change the internet browser that you are using. Okay, at the moment I am using Microsoft Edge. You can go and then you use Google Chrome. Okay, this is an internet browser, or you can use Firefox. Okay, there's a lot of internet browser that you can use. Okay, I am just demonstrating this because one or two students actually mentioned this to me that they are finding difficulties. Okay, so pretty much that's for me. Unless if you have any issue here, the other thing I want to stress here is the discussion forums. Please raise questions there. Some of the questions, I'm impressed to see some of you actually use those forums to raise questions. I did try my best as much as possible to respond to every queries. One or two questions, somebody asked me one or two questions, and then I say I recommend that you go back and read your lecture notes. Sometimes if you want to ask questions, make sure you read my notes. Read my notes, go through the activities, and then if you get stuck, then that's when you come and ask me questions. Don't just come and then ask me questions when you don't read my notes. Okay? Read the notes and then go through the material yourself. And then if you get stuck, then you can come in the forum to raise your question. It's better you raise question inside the forum, because sometimes there are other students who also have the same questions as you. When you ask question inside the discussion forum, I respond. Okay, I can help the other one or two students that are having the same problem also. So please raise questions inside the discussion forum. There is a question here. Somebody asked me, "Hi, Mr. Good afternoon. Did you take MICT for the forum discussion? MICT is also allocated for the discussion forum." What I'm going to say here is there is no MICT that will be allocated to you for the discussion forum. I think some other courses, they might take MICT for discussion forum, but myself, I decided that discussion forum is for you. It's basically a way of assisting you. Okay, I don't take MICT there, but that's where we meet. If you have any question or difficulties, You raise it inside that forum, and then I'm going to assist you. Okay, that's why I am encouraging you to use this forum to raise any questions or difficulties that you might encounter in your course. So there is no marks that is allocated to discussion forum, but I highly recommend that you participate in the forum and then raise question, or you can even discuss. If somebody raise a question and then I didn't turn up to respond, but you think you can answer that particular student, just go on and then you respond to that student. It's not necessarily mean that I will be the only one that respond to every queries. No, if you have answers to those questions, go along and then respond to those questions. Okay, I think, yep, this is pretty much for me. Tomorrow morning, the lab activity will be uploaded, and then the Dropbox for portfolio assessment task number 6, week 6 portfolio assessment task will be uploaded tomorrow also, and the Dropbox will be open at the same time, which means that whenever you finish either at the end of the day tomorrow or over the weekend, you can just submit anytime until Monday 11 p.m. at night. That's when the Dropbox closes. After this, okay, if you can't submit, you submit later on, marks will be deducted. So we don't want your marks to be deducted. So please answer the question on time. Okay, there's a question also here, another question about the activity. Why we haven't submitted the activity? There's another question. Why we haven't submitted the activity? What I am thinking, the lab activity is basically, now take note, these lab activities, if we happen to have contact hours face to face, that means I will be inside the lab with you on Friday, and then we will go through the lab activity, assisting you and making sure that all of you know how to do those activities. So I didn't collect the activity from you, but what I'm expecting from you is these activities is a good place for you to reflect and see whether or not you understand the materials that is covered in the 2 lectures. So at the end of the day, you are tertiary students. As a tertiary students, these materials are given for you to guide you, to help you, so that you understand the concept. I didn't collect the activity, the lab activities, I didn't collect that from you, but I am expecting you to do this, okay, for your own benefit, okay? It's for your own benefit, because as you go through those activities, there will be a lot of things that you will come across. If you go through the lecture note, go through the lab activities, there are a lot of things that you will be going through those processes. And when I come to the assessment, I might not capture everything in the assessment test in your portfolio assessment task. There will be some parts of it, but holistically, you already got the idea when you go through the process, okay, through the lecture note and then through the lab activity. So at the end of the day, it's for your own good. Okay, remember, you didn't just learn Microsoft Excel to pass this course. You have to get this idea of. You don't just come here and to pass the course, and then after this you go back to school when a work colleague asks you about Microsoft Excel, you say, I don't have any idea. Okay, that's not the point here. We want you to go through the course. It's basics, very basic stuff here, but at least you've got some basic understanding on how you can interact with Microsoft Excel. I think I answered that question. I'm gonna stop sharing this screen now, and then I'm gonna get back here if you have any more questions. Okay, there are 46 of us here. Any question? Any more question from anyone? I think if you have any more question, please do so ask me before I'm gonna leave you here. Are you okay with everything? Some of you are using mobile phone. You might be having challenge with you might not find a laptop, but please make every effort to go through my notes with a laptop. You can't just learn with Excel with a mobile phone. No, you can't do that. Okay? You need to go through the materials with a PC, computer, or with a laptop, because you're gonna actually go through the activity as you read through the note. Any more question from anyone? How can we download these notes? How can you download the notes? Okay, let me take you back. I'm gonna take you back. I will share my screen with you. This is how you download the notes. Okay. For example, if I go to week number 6, lecture number 1, if you look at my screen, okay, I just put my cursor here and then I click on this. Okay, so this is the note. At the moment, I am actually, when I click and then it takes me to, I am still using the same tab for the Moodle. I just click on it and then it loads me this. So you need to download this, okay? You just put this one down here, okay? If you move your cursor up here, did you see this? If you can see where I move my cursor, okay? This is where you're gonna click the save button. You click on the save, I'm gonna save, and then it's gonna take me to where, or to the location that you want to actually save the document in. So at the moment, when I click on week 6, for example, I want to save it inside my PC on document. Okay, I click the document and then I move inside there, MICT111. That's the folder. For example, week 6 material, and then I can move it into session number 1, or I can just save it here. It's up to you. Okay, I click save. Okay, that's this. So see, now it's been downloaded into this folder. See, these are my download files. MICT111 week 6 lecture number 1. Okay, after downloading this, you just go and then you click on this arrow. It's going to take you back to your Moodle site. So that's how you download. Okay. Any more question? There's another one here. Let me see the question. If I don't have laptop during this lockdown, is it possible for me to come over to VIT and use the computers in the computer lab? Yeah, you can do so. You can come to VITE. Starting of next week, you will be around here. There is a standard operating procedure that you need to comply with. If you are using the library, there is only a certain number of people that can be allowed inside the library in one time. And inside the computer lab, we also have restriction there. There is only a limited number of people that can be allowed inside the computer lab at the same time. So yeah, you can use the facilities here at VID, but provided that you comply with the standard operating procedures. Starting of next week, Monday, when you come, the first thing, make sure you come with a mask. The security will meet you at the gate. If you have no mask there, they're gonna send you back home. You need to find a mask before you come inside. Anything else?
Yeah, one question.
Yes.
About OneDrive, the last assignment, the first small with them. The saving OneDrive, this
Okay, let's get back to this. Did you manage to go through my my lecture notes? Yes or no?
we go through when we sorry, we go through the place and we just start from laptop or we not start.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna respond. Now that's the reason why I say make sure you go through everything on the lecture slides, do it yourself, understand before you go and do the assessment task. Now, recall the issue for last week is this: a lot of you are having difficulties with the sharing of file. Okay, if you for those of you who did manage to go through the sharing of file, but on your lecture slide, okay, when it comes to submission of assessment, you won't have any difficulty because when you go through the slides, you already, if you are having difficulty with your email address, this should already be sorted out. But when you didn't manage to get this done properly during the lecture, then when you come to submit your assessment, then that's when you have difficulty. So the process is pretty much straightforward. There is 1 or 2 students who contacted me. They can't manage to set the file. A lot of you, they contacted me and then I give them instruction. They managed to get through. But some of you, it might be to do with the email address. So 1 or 2 students, they contacted me and then I referred them to the IT officer for the School of Education because he's the one that is responsible for your email address. Because if you can't get inside, if you have the email address typed wrongly, you won't be able to get inside there because you are using your student email address. So these might be issues that is beyond my capacity here if it's to do with the email address. But otherwise, I'll just go through this very, very quickly. The process is not too complicated. It's pretty straightforward. For example, if I have an Excel file here, okay, I'm going to share my screen shortly with you. I'll just demonstrate this very quickly. Okay, I've got a blank Excel sheet here with me. I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, so this is the Excel. Okay, if you want to share this Excel file with me, this is what you do. According to my instruction on the lecture note, this is what you're supposed to do. If you want to share this document with me, to say this is your week 5 portfolio assignment. What you need to do is you just move your cursor, look at my top left-hand corner where you see file, click on that. When I click on file, it's supposed to have something like this, okay? Just move your cursor down and then you're gonna find share, okay? I click on share, take note, look at my screen here. When I click on share, my name, there is no place here you can type. Don't go and click email here, no. You want to share this with somebody, okay, on the cloud. So at the moment, I cannot share this file with anyone because I haven't saved it to my OneDrive account yet. So I need to save it. If you look at this, it says save with people. Step number 1, save your document to a OneDrive location. That's the first thing that you need to do, okay? If you don't save it to OneDrive location, you will never be able to share that document with me, okay? So you need to save it to the cloud. You click on save to cloud. Now, when you click on that, it's gonna say this PC. If I click on this PC, I'm gonna save it to my personal computer, not the cloud. So I need to click on OneDrive. Some of you, if you are borrowing somebody's laptop, okay, you won't be able to see your email address here. Okay, you will just see OneDrive, which means that when you click on that, you will need to log in with your student credential. That is your email address and your password. Okay, so at the moment, my OneDrive account here is so I already logged in with my OneDrive account. That's why you see on my screen here, my email address is already here. For those of you who haven't, okay, you never log in inside the OneDrive account with the PC that you are using, that means you need to log in here. You will click on it and then it's going to ask you to enter your email address. There are 1 or 2 students are having difficulty when they want to enter the email address. There is a message that comes out and say that the email address is not recognized. Okay. With that case, I'm gonna refer you back to the IT sections to help you out. But if everything works fine, I click on this. Okay, I just double click on that, and then it's gonna take me. Okay, let me see this. What's this? Got an issue here. Wait. Okay. Let me come back to this. Stops here. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Let's try this again. I'm gonna share my screen with you. I'm gonna try this again. So here, I click on the file. Okay, click on the file here, share, save. cloud. I'm gonna save it here. It says I need to use. I need to log in here. Let's wait. Give me a few seconds there. What I need to do here is I need to log in. So let me try this. Let me try this. I've got a little issue with my network here. Okay, I think I can understand. Okay, so now it takes me to the folder inside my OneDrive account. Let me see this. I'm gonna say this. Let's just put this as trial. Oops. Okay, let me just save this. Okay, it's now been saved into my OneDrive account. Okay, so as soon as it's saved inside my OneDrive account, okay, what's this? What's my screen? Still loading in here. Okay. I've got some here. Let me try this again. Unfortunately, I am sorry, I've got an issue with my network here. I couldn't manage to complete this process with you. But anyway, let's just check this. Okay, let me share the screen again. It's already saved. I'll just finish off this and then we can end this session. I'm going to share my screen again with you. Back to this. Okay, remember the document is already saved into cloud. So now you're going to see here, when I click on share, it's going to say share with people. I click on this icon here. Okay, when I click on this icon, this is where you're going to type. Okay, look on your right hand side. You're going to say invite people. That's where you type my email address. Okay, that's where you type the email address for whoever you want to share the document. So pretty much that's the process. Go through, click on the file, and then you click on the share. After you share, you need to save the document to OneDrive account, which means that when you save it to OneDrive account, it's now up there on the cloud. Once it's saved up there in the cloud, then the next process, go back and click on the file, click on share again, and then from there, it's going to direct you to where you're going to invite people, and then from there you type in the email address for you want to share the document. So this is pretty much the process. Okay. I think our session for today is the session. I'll just one or two announcements that I'm gonna make here before we leave. You're coming back here next week on campus, but there will be a timetable that should come out sometime tomorrow, I guess. For MICT, as you know, the spacing inside the computer lab is very small. We'll see how we organize ourselves. This is what we requested from the timetabling team. I'm requesting them to give the materials will still be uploaded on Moodle. Doesn't mean that you come here and then materials won't be uploaded. I already communicated with Mr. Connelly, and he told me that the materials for week 6 will be uploaded on Moodle for you to interact with the material. The institution will give us, I think, only 2 hours face-to-face next week. So you come in here next week, you're going to see the timetable, and then we'll see how we go about with this. Just because we can't allow big number of students inside the computer lab at the same time, so they will have to divide us into smaller groups. And then from there, you will have an opportunity to actually meet your lecturer in person, face-to-face, so that you can raise any questions or difficulties with him inside the lab. Okay, I think here that's the draft timetable. Thank you. The ID person is somebody said this one with us, so that's the draft timetable that we have for MICT. If you look at the screen there, you will see you're having sessions on Monday after lunch. Go 2 hours there. You're still maintaining the groups. We start off with the first group E3 from 1:30 to 3:30. Okay, 1:30 to 3:30. That is on Monday. So first group is E number 3. That's for Anglophone students. So come in here Monday and then just follow the timetable. You will have an opportunity to meet with your lecturer. On my part, the week 6 portfolio assessment task will be up on Friday tomorrow. You will have over the weekend until Monday next week. So if you come in here Monday, you will still see me around, not inside the classroom, but you can see me around. If you have any question, you can ask me, so long as you maintain the social distancing, and then you can ask me your questions. I can respond before 11 o'clock at night. The Dropbox will be closed. So yep, that's from my end. So don't worry, we will try to help you next week. If you have more questions, come along next week. We will be here to assist you if I can. If I can't assist you with everything that you want, then I might forward you to some relevant people who I think they can also assist. Okay, thank you very much. I think I'm going to stop here with everyone. Thank you for coming in. There are 40 to 46. Now it's 42. Good number. I'm going to expect to see you on campus next week. Please don't forget MICT week 6 portfolio assessment task will be up tomorrow. Spend time over the weekend, work on this. If you haven't find a laptop, please find a relatives. Ask them to give you a hand. You can borrow their laptop and then you work on the assessment over the weekend. As a university student, as a tertiary student, you have to find some money to purchase one laptop. You can't survive at any tertiary institution without a personal laptop. Your life will become more challenging. So please make an effort to find one. Maybe if you can't find one now, that's okay. But later on, okay. Thank you very much. I'm gonna say bye to here. If you can just stand on your camera and then wave goodbye to me. Just stand on your camera, wave goodbye. Okay, good to see you all. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
You.
Yeah, there is a real challenge for ICT, but don't worry, everything will be fine as you go along with your studies. By the time you finish here, you will become expert with ICT tools. So just think positive. Don't worry, we will be here next week to try to help you. But otherwise, for now, I'm gonna say bye to you all. You have a nice afternoon. Enjoy yourself and take care. Please do your reading. Go through my materials. Thank you very much. I'm gonna leave.
Bye,
here.
Pastor.
Hey, lecture.